Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam
Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. With that Mangal Sloka, we'll start the Mahabharata Kathāśravaṇam again. And this wonderful Mahabharata, we are continuing after many weeks. Last time, we were still talking about some of the stories from the Adi Parva, and we were talking about how after the Laksha Graha Dahanam, when the palace of Lak in which the Pandavas were present was burnt down, the Pandavas escaped through a tunnel, and they go into the forest. Bhima fights with Hidimbasura. Then, upon the advice of Vedavyasa, the Pandavas go to Ekachakrapura in the guise of brahmanas, and there, chanting the Veda with long hair, clad in bark, skin and grass, is donning the vesha of brahmanas and brahmacharis, doing bhikshatana. They live there taking refuge in the house of one of the brahmanas in Ekachakrapura. And we were talking about how, as the brothers go and get bhiksha every day and come and offer it to their mother Kunti, she would separate the bhiksha into two halves. One half she would give to Bhima, and the rest she would give to the other four to share. So that was how, with her motherly love and knowing the nature of Bhima, that is how Mother Kunti was treating them. So they were living like this in Ekachakrapura. Then there is a very interesting story we will talk about today, which illustrates so much about our culture, from the time immemorial, how the Bharata Samskriti is illustrated by this story. So one day, when Yudhishthira and the other brothers had gone for Bhikshatana, only Kunti and Bhima were at home in that Brahmana's house. They were in a portion, right? They were renting a portion in the house of a Brahmana in Ekachakrapura. And suddenly, they heard some loud lamenting and crying and wailing from the house, from the portion of the host Brahmana family. That was a Mahashabdam from that portion of the house they were hearing. And hearing that, Kunti was very, very concerned. She turned to Bhima and she said, because of the grace of this Brahmana family, we have been living safely here after being targeted by the evil Dhartarashtras. And we have been able to live safely here. And we have been spending our days here in solace and safety. And from every day I've been thinking, how should I repay these Brahmanas? They have done so much good for us. What can I do in return? Because they have made us live so safely and so happily here. And there is a beautiful statement that Kunti makes to Bhima. Yetavan purushastata krutam yasmin nanashyati yavaccha kuryad anyosya kuryad apyadikam tataha. So she says, oh, my dear son, that person is a real person who, when they get favor from others, gives more in return to them. Then only you can say you are living meaningfully. From more than what you are getting, you should be giving. You should giving back to others more than you are getting from them. Therefore, when I am hearing this sad sound from them, I am very eager to go and help them and see. I want to definitely get rid of the sorrow that is bothering them. And whatever help I can offer to them, I want to offer them, Bhima. Saying that, she goes to the Brahmana's home, and just as she is about to enter, she starts hearing their conversation. What are they talking about? And she doesn't appear in front of them yet, but she is listening to understand what is it that is troubling them. What is it that they are crying so much about? Then the Brahmana overhears the Brahmana speaking. Oh, this life is so bad. So full of sorrow is this life. That is the nature of life. Life, from the beginning to the end, it is full of these dualities. We come weeping into this world, and we have to go away from this world. Everything we get, we have to lose. Every time you get something, you have to lose something. This is the nature of life. So he's very philosophically, he is in sorrow. He's saying this life is like that. It is full of tension. It is full of sorrow. There is no way you can avoid the duality of life. When there is joy, there will be sorrow also. And then he says to his wife, I told you we should leave this place. I told you we should not be attached to family and friends and place. But you were so saying we should be with our family, we should be with our society, with our friends. And you insisted you should stay here. And you are so important to me. And then he says, you are my Sahadharmachari. Who is the wife? You are my Sahadharmachari. Sahadharmachari, the Antam, Nityam Matru Samam Mama. You are like equal to my mother. So dear you are to me. Matru Samam Mama. You are half of my life. You are half of my body. Sakayam Vihitam Devai Nityam Paramikam Gatim. So you are my dearest friend. You have given up everything for me. Matra Pitra Chavihitam Sada Garhastya Bhaginim. You have given up your own parents and come to become my wife, and you have been staying with me. Varayatva Yathanyayam Mantravat Pariniyacha. In the utterance, in the presence of mantras, in accordance to the Vedas, I have married you. You are so dear to me. Kulinam Shila Sampannam Patya Jananim Mama. You are so noble and you are so full of great character. And you have borne you have borne our children. You gave birth to our children. Vamaham Jivitasyate Sadvim Anapakarinim. You have not done any evil to anyone. You are half of my life. How can I give you up? How can I let you go? There's no way I am going to give you up. I am not going to send you. That is how he was talking about his wife. But see, the beautiful way in Mahabharata explains the importance of the woman and the wife in the household, and how dear this Brahmana views his wife. And then he looks at his daughter and he says, I cannot give up this daughter of mine. He has who is still so young. I am preserving her for her husband. She is going to be her husband's treasure. And she will give birth to grandchildren. And the grandchildren in Sanskritam are called Dauhitra. Dauhitra means daughter's children. Daughter's children are considered very, very special in a family. Then he is saying, having the good fortune of having had a daughter in my family who elevates our whole race, how can I give her up? And then he looks at his very small son. And how can I give up this son who is my own reflection and who will continue our family and offer oblations to our forefathers? So I should bear this calamity that has come to our life. I should go. That's how he was saying. But look at the beautiful value he is giving to daughter, to his wife, and to his son. Then in the Mahabharata, then the wife is referred to as this is the Brahmana, and she is referred to as the Brahmani. Equal respect to the Brahmana is the Brahmani. Brahmani is saying, You should not lament like this, oh dear Aryaputra. You should not be having such sorrow at any time. You should always be brave and courageous. You should not, I should never see you sad. You are such a learned person. In any calamity, you should not lose your strength and courage. And about me, why are you worried? Etatti paramam narya karyam loke sanatanam prananapi parityajya yat bhattu hitamacharet. From time immemorial, it has been our Sanatana Dharma that the woman should give up everything and should be totally dedicated to her husband and always seeing what is the welfare of her husband. So it is, I am very fortunate to have you as my husband. And it's also considered very fortunate if the woman leaves for the afterworld before her husband. So, and you are needed to take care of our children. Otherwise, they won't be able to survive without your care. Like fish out of water. If the water dries up, how will the fish survive? You are taking care of this family. You are bearing this family. You should continue to do that. I am the one that will leave. I am ready to go. Yajnais tapobir niyamaid vividais tadha striya bhattu nityam priyahite stitihi. There is the greatest state for a woman to always take care of her husband. So let me take care of you. Let me go. So please send me. That's how she is saying. Then the daughter says, one day or the other, you will need to give me up. I won't remain in your family. You're going to marry me off. I can never do what you do for me. I have a small opportunity to pay my tribute to you. And when if you send me with your blessings, I will go with the greatest blessings. And you parents, you should not be weeping in front of me. If you two are safe and you two are together, you can have many more children. So let me go. That is how the daughter starts saying. And all three are hugging each other and crying. Very sad. The father, the mother, and the daughter. And then they have this very little boy. He still just started speaking. He's a very little boy. That boy comes running to them, seeing all of them crying. And he comes and wipes their tears, smiling. And says, why are you afraid? I will kill that Rakshasa. I will go. I'll kill that Rakshasa and come back. So when they hear these innocent words of that little boy, they start crying even more. So this is the scene in the house that Kunti is witnessing. And then Kunti comes to them and says to the Brahmana, what is happening? Why are you crying like this? Kuto moolam idam dukkham jnatum ichchami tattvataha viditva apakarsheyam shakyam chet apakarshitum. So what is the root of your sorrow? Why are you all crying like this? What happened? Please explain to me. If there is any way that I can overcome your sorrow, if there is any way to overcome that sorrow, I'll help you overcome your sorrow. Then the Brahmana, as many of you may know, explains about the calamity that they all have. There is this very evil Rakshasa called Bakasura, who has been terrible Rakshasa who strikes terror in all the surrounding areas. And he has been killing so many people and eating them up, and he needs so much food every day. So without any thought and without any consideration, he was killing people, eating and doing all of that. Eating. Then they all came to an agreement with him that every time they will send one cart full of food, all rice and all the delicacies, along with driven by bison, and with somebody who drives that cart and takes one human being. And that whole thing, including the cart full of food, the bison and the human being, are all his food. And they will take turns and send to him. And now it is the turn of the of this brahmana's turn has come. That is why they are all crying. Then Kunti immediately offers to him, and look at the nobility of Kunti. She offers to him, Mama Panchasuta Brahman Tesham Eko Gamishyati Tvatardam Balimadaya Tasya Papasya Rakshasaha. You have only one son. I have 5 sons. Oh, Brahmana, you have been giving refuge to us. I will send one of those sons to that evil Rakshasa. Then, hearing this, the Brahmana is shocked. He says, Shiva, 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 how can I send my guest in my place? How can I ever send in my place? How can I send a guest in my house to death? And that to a Brahmana, because they are all in the Vesha of Brahmanas. How can I ever send a guest and a Brahmana to death? Shreyamstu sahadarasya vinashodya mamaswayam. I can even send my son, or I can go myself. Brahmanasya vadam naham anumamsye katanchana. Never ever will I agree to this. Then Kunti says, then Kunti explains to him, you are right. First of all, I also think a Brahmana is always to be protected. That is why I'm not sending, I'm asking any of you to go. And also realize that a mother, even if she has 100 sons, will not have any dislike to any one of them. She will never send any one son to death, even if she has 100 sons. So even if I have 100 sons, I won't do that. Nachaso rakshasas sakto mama putra vinashine. But I know the strength of my son. No rakshasa can kill my son. Viryavan mantrisiddhascha tejasvi cha suto mama. He is full of mantra shakti. He is a Mahavira, my son. I am fully confident about him. That is why I want to send him. So this way, she convinces him, and they all start. Then she explains to Bhima. He comes there. She explains the situation to him, and he immediately gets him ready. He is getting ready with the cart and the food and everything, and he is getting ready to go. Meanwhile, the Yudhishthira and the brothers come, and suddenly Yudhishthira is seeing all this, seeing what is happening. He learns what is happening, and then he gets very upset with his mother. He says, how can you send your own son to death like this against such a terrible Rakshasa? And so he also starts questioning. And then beautifully, she explains to him, there is nobody as strong as this Vrukodhara Bhima. When he was born, do you know what happened? He slipped from my lap and fell down on a rock, and that rock became powder. From my birth itself, I've been seeing. Even the Vajradhara, Indra himself, even if he comes, he cannot destroy this Bhima. That is the strength of my son, I know. That's why I have carefully thought about the whole situation, using my prajna. Tadaham prajnaya smrutva bhalam bhimasya pandava. Thinking of that great Bhima's power. Pritikarancha viprasya. How to protect this Vipra, this Brahmana. Tatak prutavati matim, with great intelligence and thought and discrimination and intellect have I done this act. Nedam lobhan cha ajnananna cha mohad vinishchitam. It is not through lobha or ajnana or moha that I have done this. Buddhi purvantu dharmasya. Using my buddhi and knowing what is dharma, devasaya krutomaya. That is how I have acted. So this is, in saying this, she sends Bhima. So this, I wanted to tell this story because it is so beautifully illustrative of how, first of all, in our dharma, everybody sacrifices themselves for other people. How everybody thinks of their dharma, how the Brahmana thinks of his dharma, how the Brahmani thinks of her dharma, how the girl thinks of her dharma, how everybody is thinking about others first. That is our culture. And how Kunti offers her own son for the host. And how the host is again not willing to accept. Everybody, even in the face of death, is thinking about dharma. And how even to somebody as great as Dharmaraja, Kunti is able to explain that even in the greatest calamity, you should not act out of lobha or ajnana or moha, but you should act with buddhi and with thinking of dharma. So in this beautiful way, this story is told in the Mahabharata. With that, we will conclude today. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Om Namami Shamishana Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Vedaswarupam Ajam Nirgunam Nirvikaram Niriham Chidakaram Akasha Vasam Bhajeham. Om Namah Shivaya.